So the first piece of this chart is integrations. And integration, when I'm thinking about integration, just in summary, I'm asking myself, does it connect directly or sync with the LMS? Okay, so for Edpuzzle, what I did was I looked directly at my Edpuzzle platform after I logged in. And when you look at adding classes, you can add a class and you can choose through any of these platforms. So right here, you know that it will in fact sync. So that is how I filled out my first piece. I would state that it's integrated with standard LMSs. It syncs grades of assignments. Now, if you're not sure how to check and make sure that it will sync with the grades and assignments, you can check out the voice thread that was created for the content. Slides 5 through 7 will actually go into a little more detail about checking to see if it syncs with grades and assignments. Okay, so our second piece of the chart is user instruction and interface. So these two things go hand in hand, but they are different. So I want to make sure that we talk about both. When I think of instruction, I think just about in terms of how it explains the tool, how to use it. So if I go back up to Edpuzzle and I go to the Help Center, if you look, everything on here tells you how it works, obtaining potential consent, managing your content. The only problem is that everything is written. There's no audio and there's no video. So that's something that I would make note of in the chart. The next piece is going to be your interface. And so when I think of interface, I think of what it looks like and what it's going to look like when I interact with it. So if you remember on content through VoiceThread, slides 8 through 11 go a little more into depth with instruction and interface. So if you feel you need a refresher, just go check out those slides. But for interface, whenever I'm looking at it, it's discussing shareability, collaboration, and then how it looks. So whenever I first look at this, I see that it's broken down easily into my classes that I can manage. So that means it's synced. I can see my network. I can choose from my network. I can choose from YouTube. But let's go ahead and check out one of my classes. So let's say I want to share this video and I'm thinking about shareability. So there is a live mode where you can share it with your students and they can work on it all together collaboratively. They will have their own answers, but we can work on it in sync. Another thing that you should notice is that in terms of being able to share it in different formats, if you click on this three-dot button, you not only can download grades, but you can export them. So there's different ways that you can share the grade reports. So what I would put here for my user instruction and interface is very detailed help page, but it only offers written feedback for troubleshooting and problems. And then for interface, it's simple to use, but sometimes it actually has problems marking videos as complete, and so it doesn't upload the scores. Some other things that you could include in there is what we talked about for being able to share grades, as well as being able to work on the video live and individually. Okay, the next section is platforms and access across devices. So what you're really looking for here is making sure that you can access the tool that you're using, whether it's on your phone, on a laptop, depending on what browser you're using, just making sure that all of your students and you have access to the tool. What I would do first is I would just start with Google. And so this is what I do. So in terms of browsers, I Googled some things and I just said, is Edpuzzle compatible with all browsers and search engines? And so I found this article that popped up about Safari being an issue. And so what I did was I was able to go back to the help link and I found a bunch of troubleshooting behind Safari. So I might mention that Safari is like a little iffy. Now, the other thing is your mobile access. And so what I did was I just quickly Googled, is Edpuzzle available for Androids? And it is on Google Play. I also Googled to see if it's on the App Store. They actually have this at the bottom of their website too. The other piece in terms of access is about embedding, and can you embed embed something. For embedding, you want to know whether or not you can embed something or if you're going to just have to share a link. And when I actually go into the search engine for Edpuzzle and I asked about embedding, it comes up with all these different ways that you can embed things. So then I decided to come look back. I found the how-to, and it said that if you click on your video and you choose to embed it, you actually go to share assignment, and look, it gives you the way that you can copy the link, and it gives you the way in which you can embed the code and even what size you want to embed it as. So what I would do when I'm filling out this part of the chart is I would mention all of those things. You can use it through a website, iOS, Android app, and it can be embedded into an LMS. The last section that we are having to do covers 3 different areas: diversity, language, and accessibility. So just as a review, diversity is thinking about culture, age, learning level, disability, and even the ability level, because disabilities and abilities kind of go hand in hand. So that can be reviewed on slide 15 of the VoiceThread if you need some more review in terms of what to think about, where to locate that. I wanted to show you how I did things. Whenever I went to my Edpuzzle, I clicked on the Help Center again. I typed in accessibility here, and this thing called Accessibility VPAT 2.0 popped up. So I Googled it. I found out that there is this thing called VPAT, and basically it is like the nutrition facts label for digital tools, websites, etc. So once you open up the PDF, if you scroll all the way down, you're going to notice that they give you these standards. And what I paid attention to was this right side over here, which kind of summarizes things for you. Basically, I scrolled all the way down until I got to this darker area for Table 3. And this specifically discussed your disabilities: vision, perception, color, limited vision. And it'll tell you whether or not the tool supports those people with disabilities and then how it supports them. Okay, so that's where I got my answers. So when we go to fill out the chart, we've kind of looked at diversity and accessibility. The last piece that we need to sort of look at is language support. So I looked under settings for this. Believe it or not, on this account, you actually have to go into the Help Center to get to settings. But when you go to settings over here, there's English and Spanish. The VPAT also talks about how you can actually use Spanish, and there's some limitations. So that is why I have ended up saying it allows audio for recording of responses. Learners cannot adjust playback speed. It's only available in English, but videos can be in any language. And there's a lot of other things that you can add based on the VPAT, but that is about it. VPAT is going to help you tremendously on this area.